The village of Le Petit Andelys in Normandy was before the 12th century a fisherman area. At this time, the Duchy of Normandy was included in the English kingdom. This village expanded with the construction of the castle under the reign of Richard I, nicknamed the Lion-Hearted, king of the English kingdom. This fortress was erected between 1196 and 1198 by Richard in order to protect the River Seine and the town of Rouen against French ambitions. At the end of the construction, he said, "Oh, she is beautiful, my daughter of 1 year old. What a Gaillard castle." Gaillard can be translated in English by strapping lad. Richard saw all the erection of the castle, but he didn't see its fall. He died because of a septicemia in 1199. After Richard's death, his brother King John succeeded him. He was nicknamed John Lackland because he had no lands given by his parents, Aliénor of Aquitaine and Henry II of Plantagenet, due to his aggressivity. The Treaty of Peace was signed between Richard I and Philip II Augustus, King of France, but nothing linked the French king to the Richard's brother. Philip II Augustus seized the opportunity to besiege Chateau Gaillard in 1203. He didn't attack the castle and chose to do a lengthy siege lasting 5 months in order to starve the population inside the castle. The French troops stayed days and nights at the top of this hill. And it worked. It giving rise to the famous useless mouth episode. The governor, named by the King John, obliged every old people, children and women, not able to defend the place, to leave the castle. But Philip Augustus refused to kill them. And during 15 days for the strongers, they were blocked between the castle and the French camp. They began to eat each other's. The French took the chance of this weakness on the part of the governor. They decided to invade the castle. There was only one water hole in the castle. Workers dug almost 400 feet directly into the cliff to rejoin the River Seine. There was no food anymore. Many inhabitants escaped and died in front of the Doors castle. The fortress succumbed to the French possessions on March 6, 1204. For centuries, these story tells that French soldiers of Philip II Augustus succeeded to enter by the restroom. But archaeologists disproved this fact after the end of the 20th century excavations. The French troops entered by the chapel, a church, a sacralized place. Because of the profanation, the truth has been concealed. In 1314, the French king Philip the Fair had his daughter-in-law, Margaret and Blanche of Burgundy, were imprisoned for committing adultery. Their lovers were tortured by the Knights King. They skinned them alive, they had been beheaded, and their sacks were cut to feed the dogs. Margaret was just married with the Prince of France when she was imprisoned at Chateau Gaillard. And few months after, the king died. She became the new Queen of France, but in prison. Killed by a knight under the request of the king, strangled with her own hair, replaced by another woman, and hidden during all her life in a convent or farm, nobody knows what happened. Nobody knows what she became. The French States General ordered the demolition of the Lion's Heart Castle in 1598, by then only used by brigands and mercenaries. This castle is classified as a historical monument in 1862. At the 19th century, painters and writers spent time in Le Petit Andelys. Its church, its cliffs, its mansions, like this pavilion of the 18th century, built by the King Louis XIV's grandson, and its castle influenced many artists, like for example William Turner in 1833. He painted a series about Chateau Gaillard with a futuristic consideration. Before the construction of any plane, he imagined being the sky and represented the castle from the top. Many artists rented studios in front of the River Seine to depict it. They rented 2 different boat garages in order to sail on the river. The Pointillist Paul Signac visited Les Andelys in 1886 and represented this street. In 1921, he proposed this new version of Le Petit Andelys. See you soon in Normandy. Thank you for your attention.